size is really unique.
This is pretty crazy. I guess I have to be honest that I was a little surprised when I heard Dubai? Dubai, really? I'm used to seeing these festivals pop up in Europe and in the United States and some in Hong Kong and Asia because those seem to be contemporary art centers. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense, so I'm not really going to quite get it until I actually go there and see what's actually happening, because my knowledge of Dubai is that it's a lot of hyper infrastructure, but I also haven't seen it yet, so I kind of like gonna have to learn as I go.
My name's Ben Iron and I am a street artist.
I'm Bo Stanton and I'm a muralist from the US.
Elis Artist UK.
I'm Rowan from Melbourne, Australia.
Slinkachu, installation artist.
Ron English, I'm an artist from New York. I'm Blake Lorette.
So when we hear the whistle, Bob, we turn around and say we're the London Police.
How about I say we are and you say the London Police? We are
The London Police. You like that?
To be fair, I'm really pleased with it.
I'm in Dubai.
Our first time in Dubai today.
Beautiful. It's the most modern city in the world.
Yeah, it's great.
Amazing futuristic views. It's sort of a clean Blade Runner.
Every building in this town is like some giant sculpture.
Plus, London's freezing and this is Rome.
I have to say that I am surprised at the big names they got to, like, when you're gonna kick off a festival, it's really, really hard to get the big names like Ein and Ron English and Aiko and Etim Crew. Like, those are really, really big names. And like going to Dubai, it's surprising me because you're just not used to seeing all those names together in like one place.
That first moment on the first day where you arrive and you look at the wall, in your head, you can see it. In your head, you know this is going to look great. Now we got to do it.
So those cables are weird.
Yeah, so this is what Andy was saying, was that the cherry picker will just have to work its way around the cables.
I suppose
Yeah, we just
will.
go around them.
Yeah.
It's a nice place with the...
The Burj Khalifa will be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely great. I've never painted on a wall this nice and this new before, so it's a little intimidating.
Painted on a canvas a few times, but never to this size, so scale is going to be the huge challenge on this work.
A little bit afraid of all of the angles, and I knew it was going to be a really challenging wall. I realized that it presented a really unique opportunity to create a lenticular mural that can be viewed differently from different angles. Never done anything like this before, which is either really stupid or I'm not sure if this is the right place to try something out, but here we go.
Oh, baby, I've seen.
Welcome to the London Police Wall. It's obviously like a hive of enthusiasm, hard work over here. Should we have a look what's going on? Here's Bazza. Hi. Get on with your work, son. It's not your interview. That's not about you. You tell us what's happening over here. Hello, Baz. Hi, Baz. Hello, Bazzers. I'm literally sketching in
a robot. It doesn't really have a name, does it, this character? Robot King. Robot King. It does have a name.
Yeah. I'm liking that squatting position you're in as well.
You like that?
Very 11 o'clock at night in Tokyo. And it's just a wonderful atmosphere. It doesn't feel like work, does it? Partly because I'm not working.
The piece about like women rights. It's called Let Her Be Free. We're from Iran and like, so what the women rights? So women, they have to cover their hairs, like yeah. So we always try to say something with our pieces, like you have your freedom, like it's your choice.
So I've got 10 different miniature installations that I'm setting up around the City Walk area, and it reflects the city that they live in. My photography is, I guess it's like a record of the installations, and then we're putting massive photos up on the walls.
So this will be a Guernica, because I'm known for doing Guernicas. I don't know, I did a Guernica like 20 years ago, and it's just a thing. Everybody wants a Ron English Guernicas.
The basic idea is it's kind of kid with an umbrella, lots and lots of coloured rain coming down. But we're possibly thinking of actually, as of half an hour ago, changing the design slightly to remove the umbrella and give him maybe some kind of big leaf, and he's kind of hiding under there. So it's kind of, I think it reflects Dubai in a lot of ways. It's this life springing from nowhere, this kind of a city from the desert that's just appeared almost overnight, relatively speaking. So I think that idea works quite well. So, but we've literally just thought about that. So we need to speak to some people to see if we can kind of squeeze it through.
I'm going to paint 3 different walls. I have a violinist, you know. Actually, the violinist is my son, so it's the same face. And I'm going to make a woman dancing. And I have a stencil with children playing on the beach. I started to work with stencil a long time ago, in 1981.
Make up a kind of a superhero in the genre of graffiti, then like the Vandal is, I think, you know, I think he epitomizes that. Whereas, you know, he can kind of, you know, scale up massive buildings and drip paint all the way down, you know. He does the things I can't do.
Before I came here, I only know about Aladdin, the flying carpet, you know, like I have stereotype idea of this country. I'm sure they think the same, like Japan means like maybe sushi and kimono. So I wanted to introduce more about my tradition and heritage. My theme is about love. My theme is about happiness.
This is the woman I met late last year in Cuba. Met her on the street there. She lived inside this building where I was actually painting the front. And her name's Nadia. She's been married with her husband for 52 years, she told me. And they're just like a beautiful old Cuban couple. And you know, I asked her to paint her portrait when I was there, and so it's great to be able to do that again in a sense. Like, she doesn't know about it yet, but you know, I hope to go back there soon and show some photos of like where I've taken her in a sense.
Are you going to finish with a question mark?
I'd like to, but then if I don't, if I leave the question mark out, then we've got 40 letters.
When it's 2020,
yeah. It's going to take at least 5 days because the painting that we're going to do is pretty kind of out there and it's got like loads of layers to it and quite a lot of work involved. We already had like what it was going to look like the style of the painting. We just didn't know what we were going to write. David Bowie died, so we were going through some David Bowie lyrics. He's in the best-selling show, Is There Life on Mars?
No. She's stuck in my head all week.
I'm giving these palm trees a well-tailored knitted suit. Well, literally, I'm wrapping trees and knitting, but, you know, I'm changing the landscape here. Like, I just hope my project is as cool as everybody else's. I am laying down the material for the trees. I'm going to do palm trees throughout this property, but I'm also going to do balconies and a fire hydrant.
It's like the biggest palette of colors.
Yeah, I know. It's no mystery. I clearly love loud colors, like to the point of tacky.
It's got a peach
You know
one?
what that color is? I know the name.
What's it called?
Coral. Yeah, I have like all sorts of useless fun facts. Like I could tell you every name of these colors.
What about this one? What's this
That
one?
one's called pink.
Wow.
I'm bringing a pair of scary, massive eyes to Dubai, and it says, a speech bubble says, shop till you drop, because from what I understand of Dubai, it's all about shopping. So I think there's a slight twist of irony in the idea of me painting some massive eyes that are saying shop till you drop in essentially a shopping mall.
D-Face will probably become one of the main essential people in the street art movement because he took the great movement of pop art that happened in the 20th century and has turned it into street art, and it's got kind of a familiar aspect to it that people can kind of identify with, but with clearly his own twist on like the way it's presented and the way it's kind of appreciated.
Everything is drawn beforehand and scaled and worked out very much technically in advance. I don't just turn up with like a little pencil sketch and somehow manage to make it larger on the wall. Everything's very precise and calculated.
Making up as we go along, really. So for the first time in a long time, just sketching stuff really loosely first, and then not being afraid just to invent new stuff and then clean it up, go along. A lot of the time we know exactly what we're going to do before we do it, so that can take away a little bit of the creativity if you already know what you're going to do.
So it was a drawing based on the first photographs of Bedouins. The world is evolving, but a lot of the things that was making us different, especially in the world, is kind of tends to fade away. And I think I'm on a quest to kind of make a bit of the history visible.
The artist that's behind me is Roa. He's an artist from Belgium, but he's one of the most prolific public artists in the world. And what makes him unique is that he finds a local animal that is native to the environment in which he's painting and paints it in a large form in that area. He's a quiet guy. He kind of keeps to himself. He's very hardworking, and he's focused in on the piece at hand and doing it. And what's kind of nice is that he lets the work do the talking. He's not one to show his face. He's not one to do the interviews, and they don't need to show their faces because when they leave, the piece stays for a long time, and that's their representation of who they are. Street art is the movement of art that's existed at the same time as Dubai has been growing. People's interpretations and the way they're going to experience it's going to be very unique. Every single country kind of has their own reaction to it. I'm curious how people are going to take it all in and what opinions they have about it.
It's fabulous. A lot of pictures I saw. I like it very much, and I appreciate this work.
It's definitely a challenge going into it. And as much as I tried to simulate how I would approach this wall, it was with mock-ups and stuff like that, there was still a lot of unknowns.
Every mural you do has a different set of, let's say, problems, although it's not always such a negative thing. There's always different ways to approach it. Sometimes it's the weather, sometimes it's the surface of the wall, sometimes it's the ability to reach certain parts of the wall.
We've had no disasters yet. I mean, we've been changing things on the fly as we go, really. We've been changing the design. The size has changed quite drastically from the original, which is always the case once you get to the wall. You know, anything can change, anything can happen, really.
If you don't fly in and do the sketch the first night, then you lose an entire day. And barely I'm going to be able to make this piece anyway, so I need about 2 weeks. I have about a week or less. It's always that way.
artists can be pretty competitive amongst themselves.
Now it's game on.
It's obviously an honour to kind of paint a wall in such esteemed company.
This project, way bigger than I thought it was going to be. Keeping an eye on what everyone else is doing as well, which is really cool.
While it's not an open arena or a competition, it kind of is in a way.
I was just taking a quick tour around to see where the other artists are at. So just pretend like you're not here. Just seeing how far they've come on their murals. London Police are very technical, so I was just admiring their line work. And Ron's work is, I'm really familiar with his techniques because I worked for him for 5 years. I was his assistant. That's how I got my start, actually.
It's been interesting to see how Ron English paints. Very quick and accurate style, but it's also kind of loose as well.
First time we've actually seen the process of Ron, isn't it?
The man's a machine, really. It's one thing to produce an image like that over an amount of weeks or months, but see someone do it in front of your eyes, it's like, yeah, that's been really impressive and really inspiring as well, and intimidating too. It's like, right, we better make this good.
Ron is super quiet, but very brilliant. I mean, he's a really, really brilliant guy. He kind of started it before it was something. He was doing billboards, he was doing work on the streets that was different and groundbreaking.
He's a good mentor and sort of always was helpful in terms of giving me advice on how to kind of progress. We're talking about you, Ron.
He was interesting because we usually only have one assistant at a time. Put out ads, we interviewed a lot of people. He showed up 10 minutes early. The person before him showed up like a half an hour late. So I thought this kid's, you know, he's on time, he's smart, he's interested, he likes to travel. That's like, you could tell that he was going to be a great artist. You know what I mean? That he had all the right stuff, he hadn't got there yet. The funny part is he was a vegan, and we're not. So my wife every night had to make a separate dinner just for him for 5 years. And then when he finally quit, he went to Japan, and the first thing he ate, raw horse meat.
It's really nice to be able to work alongside as an equal after being, you know, assisting him for so long. Your T-Rex chicken looks insane.
Did you meet the family?
No, are they wandering around?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, I'll look out for them.
I lost my assistant, so she wandered off. I can't fire her, she's my wife, so.
Ron, it's the first time we've seen you actually work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually to see your technique and that, we're all a bit surprised.
Well, I brought my wife for my assistant, and then she quit.
And she's out shopping.
Yeah.
Exactly. I said to him yesterday, I was saying, Ron, when do you think you're going to finish? And he's like, oh, you know, kind of when it's done. And then I said to him today, oh, how are you getting on? And he goes, well, I've got to be finished by Saturday. They told me I've got to be finished by Saturday. I'm thinking, well, who's that? What, the organisation? Yeah. He said, no, my wife. Yeah, my wife and her sister. Yeah, we've got to go and visit a mosque or something like that. Yeah.
You know it's true that my love for you will always be a going concern. I'm gonna invest in your happiness, and I want nothing in return. Does that sound like a deal, pretty baby? You can't refuse, 'cause you can lose. Is that a deal?
I'm considered like the father of street art.
I mean, he's kind of the original guy for all of this. I mean, he's the reason why Banksy does the work he does. Blek le Rat has kind of always been one of my favorites. One of the guys who really created like a sense of humor when you walked around. I mean, it's kind of playful, it's interactive, and it's kind of makes you kind of chuckle as you walk by.
My first stencil was a rat, and I put 1 million of rats in Paris. And people was crazy about that. They were looking for who is the guy who is making rats everywhere. We are looking for him, searching for him. He must go to jail.
Really great that his son's here because it's kind of like passing along the family tradition to his son, but also just because it's nice that they both get to work together on a project.
A lot of people are telling me, yes, your dad is crazy, your dad is awesome, but I don't have this feeling because I grew up with him and it's my dad, so.
He followed us since he was a little kid. I remember him, and he was really angry because we covered Barcelona with posters everywhere. He used to say, "Oh, Papa, please stop this. I'm so tired. Stop." And now he wants to be an art dealer. He knows every artist in the world, so it's a good thing for him.
That's my brother, and actually Ben has been on a lot of jobs with me, even though this isn't like his profession or career.
I guess I've been doing this on and off since she started, and it's nice to return to it because I haven't been on a project in years with her. But it's great just to talk. I get to talk to my sister all day, and catch up with her because we live in different cities.
I hate sewing left to right. I hate it.
You want me to sew this way?
Huh?
You want us to sew towards you?
No. Well, see, I like sewing this way instead of this way. Whatever.
She's the best of bosses and the worst of bosses.
I brought him because I needed like laugh factor during this whole process, and it works. Ben cracks me up.
Oh, wait, okay. Ask me what's up again.
Hey, Ben, what's up?
Magda, as I live and breathe, the mother of barn bombing in my own presence.
Okay, edit that out. That was hilarious. As I do to you, right? I crack you up?
No, you're funny, yeah.
Nick's the brains behind the operation. Without Nick, I would be nothing. No, he's the number one painter in London, so yeah, when I travel around, Nick quite often comes with me and does a bit of work and gets a little bit of a holiday.
Working holiday, see the world this way, it's kind of fun.
My new Dubai sun hat. Kind of creepy. Kind of creepy.
It's good. Oh, no, should we just leave that one there?
You obviously can't wear it because you've got a man bun.
This is it.
There's a little pouch there for your man bun. Look. I'll stick your man bun in that bit there and that'll hold it on.
That sounds horrible. More projects like this, I'll definitely be on board. Love drawing, love painting, so yeah. I mean, he's a pleasure to work with. He's a pain in the arse. It's a pleasure to work with. He's a gentleman.
I'd like to think that Bob could be Hannibal. He's the leader, isn't he? He's got leadership quality. Look at him.
Yes, yeah.
Plus, if you don't do what he says, he gets all a bit aggy. He gets like a little bit ag.
Yeah.
Gets his own way.
2,
3, 4. Chinese dog, whoa. Chinese dog, whoa. Sing it, Chinese dog, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Chinese dog, whoa. Tell me, Chinese dog, whoa. Sing it, Chinese dog, whoa. Whoa. Hello there, guys. It's nice to see you again. Nice to get a pop into our little mural. Having a great time, really. It hardly feels like work, which is the beauty of this job that we do. I suppose the only snag is having to work with someone like Bob. It's the equivalent of working with Rain Man, really. I'm not able to work as hard as Bob. I try to work consistently, but working next to him is like a machine. That's the nice thing about the partnership, being able to lean on each other a little bit. Because obviously in social occasions he can lean on me because he's bereft of any sort of personality. Bob, what's it like working with me?
Pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
You see what I mean? You know, he's not so bright.
To be honest, we've been best friends for 20 years, so an old married couple, really. We tolerate each other, don't we?
Kentucky Fried Dog, boom, Kentucky Fried Dog, yeah. 35 more of those where that came from.
First of all, I would never imagine, when I started in 1981, I would never imagine that this moment will be so huge.
20 years ago, there was no such thing as street art. It didn't have a word, it didn't have a title. People just sort of found each other very early on, and we just started creating this thing that became known as street art. And when the word street art came about, for me, I was really annoyed by it and disgusted by it. I never felt things should be pigeonholed. As soon as you categorise them, it means they're sort of limited by its own boundary.
I don't really like the name street art. It's just artists that reflects the current times and the work on the public space.
Pretty much the movement that is trying to break down the wall of pretentiousness that exists in the art world. And street art is people's entry point into feeling like they can be included in the art world as it exists today. And I think that its lack of pretension is what makes it so globally popular, because art can be pretentious, art can have this era of invincibility to it, whereas I feel like street art is the breaking down of those barriers and why it's been able to travel so well through multiple languages, through multiple regions, the way it has.
I started just doing like a lot of just stencils and stickers, painting it at actually like skate spots. Eventually I stopped skating but kept painting. I think I fell over a few times, broke a few bones here and there, and then just like, all right, I've done that enough. I'm not good enough to really continue, but the painting seemed to be more of a long-term interest for me.
I got into it around about 1981. You know, I was a young kid, inspired by a lot of stuff that I was seeing from like New York City at the time. You know, like the music videos that have been played on TV, like Blondie's Rapture and Buffalo Gals, stuff like that. And these were all kind of showing elements of like hip hop. Yeah, I just kind of got immersed in it ever since then.
I started in the late 70s, early 80s, and very much illegally. My thing was billboards. I did a lot of billboards, but I think they were even a more stringent crime than just hitting up graffiti, because somebody also rents the billboard for $10,000 a month or $20,000 a month. So you're kind of messing up. Now you have the police are obviously looking for you, but also the billboard company's looking for you, and then also the advertisers are really upset with you because they paid a lot of money and you took it.
Street art is approachable, and as much as I like the gallery scene, as much as I really, really enjoy what happens in the contemporary art world, street art's the approachable kind of gateway into being able to feel like you're accepted in that.
Yeah, and I think on both ends. So, like as an artist and also as a viewer.
Yeah.
So, an artist may not have the, conventional or traditional degrees. It maybe feels like that means that they can't be an artist, and it's like, no, but in the streets you can.
Right. Yeah.
I guess we are kind of like outsider from the real art world. They used to try to put me in a jail.
You have the right to remain silent and refuse to answer any questions. Do you understand?
I have been arrested many times.
The police would come around my house at 4 o'clock in the morning and want to search the house looking for evidence.
Last time I was arrested, it was in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. Sunday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I started to paint on the wall, and I didn't notice that it was on the front of the police station. When I'm arrested, I feel guilty, but it's the life of an artist.
I'm a little suspicious that this might be a big prank, and that we're all going to paint these walls, and then they're going to come and arrest us all and throw us in prison. And people are like, really? Really? You thought you were going to paint that wall? You think that was going to be okay?
I don't watch for the police here, no problem. I feel completely, but when I'm working in a different country, I watch for the police, and a little paranoid when I do it illegally in the street by night, Usually I'm like that.
I tagged a lot of stuff when I was a kid, so my mum was crying, saying, why is it everywhere she goes, she has to see my tag. She was always throwing my spray paint away.
They know I'm an artist since I'm little, and they totally support me. But in the beginning, I gave them really hard time, to be honest. I made them so sad.
You can run for a long time. You can run for a long time. You can run for a long time. Sooner or later they'll cut you down. Sooner or later gotta cut you down.
But now they are proud of me. I worked for Michelle Obama like 3 years ago, and they invited me to White House. They told me like, we like you, Aiko. You should keep going. We support you.
It's very colorful, very nice. You know, it makes like we are in somewhere in Japan.
Now, she's well proud. And my brother's little kids came back from school like, oh, we learnt about Uncle Ben today in art class.
It's creative, you know, it adds a lot of life into the surroundings, into the area.
We got to go and get the what's it. We'll be back in like literally a minute.
Stencil drop down.
Pretty baby, pretty baby. Pretty baby, please don't go away. I'm getting down on my knees. I'm begging you to stay. I'll make you breakfast in the morning. I cook your dinner every night.
Basically peeling off around 30 rolls of masking tape from a 13-metre wall. The tape's been up here for a couple of days in the hot Dubai sun, so it's quite baked onto the wall.
What do you reckon the chances are I can get this bit off all the way down to the bottom?
Yeah, that's the challenge. To get the longest piece of tape down there. It's not going to happen.
I want to get at least one.
No, it's not going to happen.
You reckon?
It's not going to happen. You are going to be denied.
Next one's a double.
No, this is it, this is it, this is it, this is it. I've got it here, look. Watch this. This is it, all the way down to the umbrella. Slowly, slowly. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Oh, takes the lead.
No, no, no.
Yes, come on.
Did you do it?
No.
Being just a fan of street art, it's just a real buzz for me just to walk around and see the walls finished, see people painting. So that's just another added bonus. You know, it's not just about kind of me concentrating on this. I want to spend time and watch other people paint and see how they do things, and just try and pick up tips. And because it's just really interesting seeing other people's methods. So, have I learned anything? You're always up against time because there's flights booked and you have a set deadline. So there's always a little bit of kind of panic and wondering whether you can kind of get the job done in time. Especially when it's a wall like this that it's so big. I haven't painted anything this big before.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting and really impressive that that these guys want to. Yeah, he's trying to talk to me right now.
When most people are just painting one image, I think Bo's actually kind of tried to put 3 images into one because of the shape of the wall. But it's not just that makes it difficult. He's got so many really fiddly angles to kind of get in between all. It's just so time-consuming. Yeah, I don't envy him at all. I mean, this has been relatively easy, really, just going up and down, trying to get straight edges with masking tape. So it's a no-brainer compared to what he's had to do.
It's really exciting that that this. Sorry, let me start over. It's a great way to sort of. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. I'm totally off point right now. I'm just like thinking about, like looking at the wall and I'm thinking what I have to do.
Are you having a good day?
Now I am, because we're wrapping some trees.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You can do pre-planning, but you have to like stitch while you're here. Like it's kind of a very
It's unavoidable.
It's very site specific.
Yeah, and it's all in the details.
Yeah.
Sure. I could just put them up, and there's a lot of different ways. I could zip tie it. But you can tell. The whole point of it is that you make it look so well tailored, and then it freaks people's heads out. I'll be here every day until I leave.
I like blue and pink and brown and blue. And those are so amazing. I never see coloring.
Art, to me, is everything. It's the most important thing in my life. I get my inspiration from like traveling and experiencing different cultures and experiencing different ways of life. The same humans do things differently. It's just like so fascinating, and I love it. You know, it inspires me to do things differently.
When I try for this one, only looking.
No, this one.
Okay.
Amazing.
Nice.
Amazing.
You want for it like this, a press?
No, no,
Only
I
looking.
Yeah, no, I got one already. Look at that. Wow, where'd you get those? What's this one?
Blue flower.
Blue flower?
Yeah.
And this one here?
Sunflower.
Nice.
I get a lot of my inspiration from history. In this mural in particular, I'm referencing two different ancient Greek sculptures. I like to reference things from history that are very iconic, so not too specific, so that they're somewhat familiar, but you don't know exactly where you've seen them before.
I get to smell spray paint every day. It sends me a little bit mad and I come out with these ideas and stuff. I don't really think too much about like what it really represents. There's no real deep meaning, you know what I mean? It's you either like it or you don't, you know?
All the body of work that I do, it's based on sort of destruction to create. Destruction is implied in every creation. Even the most beautiful poem destroyed the white paper, and the white paper destroyed the tree. So it's in this cycle of destruction that I try to reflect on.
I guess it's about taking things that can be considered ugly or litter and just random things on the street and making them more interesting or bigger than what they are. A lot of my work, the themes in it are kind of about people being engulfed by the or lost in the city, and particularly in a place like Dubai as well, where you've got these huge buildings. Everything is overwhelming, you know. There's a sort of a melancholy, I guess, in a lot of what I do.
Everything I do is essentially a selfish act. It's what I'm into. Predominantly, it's why I started doing it, it's why I've always done it.
My parents are getting old, and sometimes they go to the hospital and they sit in a hospital for a couple of weeks. In a room, there is no color, there is nothing. And they said, I like your color, that makes us to feel like to live longer. So I like making colorful pieces for people, you know, just to encourage their life, like everyday happiness.
Street art is so tied with architecture, it's so tied with the way the city moves that if a city is kind of building itself as it goes, street artists get to interpret how that growth is happening and how that kind of structure of a city is expanding while the people are still living in it. So I'm really fascinated how this is actually all going to work and how it's going to look. I think every artist has like their own criticism about their work. I think every single artist always feels like they could have done something a little bit differently.
Actually, give me that one more time. Just press it up against the wall for a minute.
There's usually a good 2 handfuls of things that I don't like about whatever I paint. Some of the masking tape might not be completely straight. We need to put some highlights on the leaf. And we're going to put some little droplets of colour as well, I think.
Well, I'm super critical of myself, and I demand a lot from myself, so I'm very rarely content, which is, I guess, a criticism of myself.
Just because, like, you know, you want to do the best, you want to have the best piece, you want to be, you know, have the best work when you leave a city, because that's what people are going to think of you as.
You know, you'll always pick holes in stuff. That's the thing.
It's finished when I can't see anything else to fix. Like something that it doesn't annoy me. Sleep on it, come back to it tomorrow, just check that I'm happy with it. There might be a few little changes I make. There's always, you know, you go home and you look at it in a photo and it's like, that's not quite right.
No, actually, this is the most fun part of the process because it's all the fine-tuning and the little tweaking. So I'm pretty much just nitpicking and going. I have a list of about 20 little tiny things I need to do before I finish up later today.
It is going really well, actually. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I need to be a little scared. I need to be exhausted. I need to hit some walls. So at the end, when I'm done, I'm really, really happy and proud. If this was easy, I wouldn't be doing it.
She wants me to finish today. Why do you want to? We want to go to Abu Dhabi. Oh, we want to go to Abu Dhabi. All right. I'm going to try. I'm going to really try.
Yeah, that works.
But yeah, it's good. I'm really, really pleased with it. It does exactly what it's supposed to do.
All came out really well, I think. I'm really happy. Yeah, then we can call it a day, finally.
Really pleased with it. It's, can quite confidently say it's the best piece we've ever done.
Thousands of people that are going to walk past this, enjoy it. That's what it's all about, really. And you'd hope, like Doug always says, some kids look at it and it inspires them, because this is the sort of thing that would inspire me when I was a kid, and that's why old Barry Swan here is sitting here now, painting for you. And let's hope it does inspire. Let's hope good things come from it. Job done. Well done, boys. Well done.
I think this one's gonna surprise people because I think they're gonna think it's digital because they're so clean. Like, these guys paint the cleanest lines, and I just think people are gonna be like, I think they're gonna be confused. They're gonna have to get really close to it and kind of wonder, like, is it painted, or is it like some sort of like banner? Because it's really incredibly clean and so precise. I mean, they're one of the best at that. So I'm really curious what people's reactions are gonna be like when they see this for the first time.
I'm really impressed. I just have to say, I'm really impressed. And I think this will even add to tourists in Dubai. So, and in fact, let me just use the word, I'm really impressed.
I have to admit, this is pretty crazy. I mean, if you're gonna paint this and you only have like a week to do it, you gotta be really focused. I mean, there's a lot of detail. I think this is the one the kids are gonna like the most. How people are kind of taking it in, it's pretty cool.
Very special. It doesn't look like the usual graffiti that you would see in Europe, but it's done a very specific way. It looks like 3D art, like it wants to pop out of a wall. I think the children and the parents, they're gonna really love it.
You know, this is the first wave, so it's always cool to be the very first.
I really think it looks great. Am I not supposed to say that? I can't be proud of my work, right? I'm like, it looks really good. I'm really, really happy. And you know, I never know what these are going to turn out to look like. And they went beyond my expectations.
He's holding the umbrella because there's the rain. The rain is colorful. They made it a really nice picture.
It works for everything though. Best-selling show, we're in a glitzy area, we're in an expensive country. You were here a few months ago and sold most of your show out in the first night.
It's good. I like it. It's been good to me. I really like the fact that you get the Burj Khalifa in the back of my wall, because that's the money shot.
Oh, it's benign. It's good. Yeah, I like it. It's poppy.
So what was once just quite a dull, lifeless grey wall is just now this amazing piece of self-expression, which is just full of colour and character and kind of humanises everything.
I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. Feels good being able to kind of come up with a concept and then actually see it come to fruition. That's probably the most satisfying part of being an artist, is being able to just you know, come up with an idea and then manifest it. It would be kind of arrogant for me to say it's the world's first. It probably wouldn't be accurate.
You know, Dubai is strict and it's not allowed to draw on the walls. So I'm really happy to see drawings, graffitis all around the city walk.
I get to come all the way across the side of the world and paint a mural in the sun, which is like, yeah, can't complain at that. And get paid, right? What? Who wants a real job?
Amazing art with the sketches and then the paintings and then the drawings that actually kind of speaking out yourself. And it's just, oh wow, that's an art. That's what we have been looking for. It's unique and it's new.
Somehow it ended up being like the perfect angle, looking up, and it's like right to the top of the tower. The whole project, like coming into it, I didn't really know what to expect. It's kind of been a really fantastic experience, and just like-minded people kind of brings you to a higher level as well, and you learn so much just watching other people paint.
It's beautiful. A lot of people are watching it, and gives you some sort of different, I mean, it's totally different.
in every country, every city in the world. I put it in New York, I put it in London, Brighton, Germany, everywhere in the world. And now we're in Dubai. It's going to stay here for a long time, stuck on this wall.
Maybe in 30 years I will come back with my kids and see this picture and I remember I was young.
صورة جميلة وأول مرة أشوفها في هذا المكان وأتمنى أني أشوفها في أماكن ثانية في دبي لأنها الصورة تشعرنا بالراحة والطمأنينة.
Knowing that the Middle East didn't have shared scene, they really brought the right people to kind of kick this off. Dubai Walls project is kind of special that it'll be the first city to kind of embrace this. If people dream it, it's probably going to happen there. More and more artists are going to want to be a part of it.